Hey guys, Michael here. Man, I've got something really nice for you guys today. And I'm going to be having a few guests on with me today. And you know, it's going to be pretty awesome here. And like pretty much what's going to happen is for 15 minutes each, individually, they will come on and they'll ask me questions and such. And pretty much, yeah, like anything about the challenges, they'll be able to ask. And also there will be a Q&A at the end here. And pretty much what will happen is, like, after the Q&A and such, I'll end the video, but be sure to check out my Facebook page. I'll be posting some extra content there that may not be available on the channel for maybe a couple of days or not at all, just for the fact that I'd like to have, for those who want to have more participation, and I would like to have a more serious audience for some of you, and be able to talk a bit more deeply on some subjects. Yeah, I'll be posting them on my Facebook page. Anyways, I'll have my first guest here. All right, I'll wait a few seconds. All right. And while I'm at that, okay. Hopefully my guest will be on here soon. Anyways, by the way, oh, there she is. Got our guest on.
Hello.
Hello, Nicole.
How are you
How
doing?
are you?
Okay, how are you?
I'm doing very good. Like, how's things been for you?
Okay. Pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting? Good. I know, like, you've been, like, the private hangouts with me, like, with a few other group of people, like, that we do each week.
Uh-huh.
And I know you've been taking the challenges as well, but how has that been going for you?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Do you have any questions or any, like, well, actually, I should probably ask you, like, how do you feel after the challenges and such that we've been going through in the videos I've been doing?
Feels good, actually.
Pretty good. Any notices or differences that you've been kind of seeing, like, with with your senses being expanded and such?
Yeah, especially like when I, talk to spirit, I'm able to hear them more or feel them more around me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, is there any questions you have about the challenge so far?
I don't think I'm done.
Uh,
uh, I was wondering how I really see into my soul. That one.
mm-hmm.
I was watching that one today.
Yeah. What questions do you have for that video?
I was. Um, I was wondering how I can see your soul.
Um, like, were you able to see yours when you did the challenge, or not too much?
A little bit. I saw a little bit of light.
Mm-hmm. That will get a lot more powerful as you go along, because, like, what's happening is, like, I'm I've been, it's been kind of almost a little ridiculous, but what all these challenges here, I've compressed pretty much, like, what is a year's worth of development in there. So, like, the fact that you're even able to see a little bit of your soul is pretty good, actually. Like, what a lot of people don't understand is, like, psychic development and energy development of your chakras and your senses takes time.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is, like, over time, it's like peeling back layers upon layers of, like, so you see more detail and more, like, of what you're seeing, and you'll be able to feel a bit more about that. So, like, your soul, like, when you see your soul, it's going to get a lot more deeper, and a lot more intimate, to say the least, like as you progress more further and further.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like your senses are getting sharper and sharper pretty much.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. And I noticed you've been practicing and experimenting with quite a few of those abilities and such.
I like to send out energy balls. I can't
Yeah.
really see it, but I can really feel it more.
Yeah. And you know, some people don't see energy balls immediately. That's a misconception a lot of people have, that they'll think, oh, I'll be able to see the energy ball. It's like a lot of times they'll feel it a lot more than anything.
Yeah,
And you know, there's a few people I've heard of that have been able to flare the energy balls, but you know that was a bit more of a rare case that I've heard of. And I haven't seen it personally myself. I've seen my own energy balls, but I'm not sure if that's due to my vision being open or if that's actual visible to everyone else. I'd have to get it a lot more prominent for me to tell on for me.
right.
Yeah. Um, so is there anything you wanted to know besides the challenges, or do you have a few more questions on those?
Yeah, I was wondering how I can like raise my vibrations more.
Oh, like were you able to do that pretty well, like earlier?
A little bit,
Like
yeah.
during, yeah. All right. Now, like as I showed in the video or whatever, like you concentrate on your energy and you feel it, right? In your
Yeah,
arm or whatever,
yeah.
or anywhere pretty much. What you're doing is like, you know how like we did the stirring action and other different things before?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're pretty much just using kind of almost like what I like to kind of feel like it's like vibrating. Like it's kind of like almost a vibrating feeling
Yeah.
that you'll feel
The
as like the energy.
illusion.
Yeah, and it just keeps on going more and more and more.
Uh-huh.
Like, and you know, it takes some practice to get it really, really high. But you know, it's kind of like it's like oh, I'm able to only push this so far for right now. And then you just push a little higher and a little higher and a little higher.
Right, and then we're able to protect ourselves if we do that more.
Yeah, yeah. What you'll notice is like the more higher vibration you're in, like the more spirit, like not necessarily spirits in general, but like bad spirits in general, like will tend to stay away from you more. Even though
Okay.
that doesn't mean that they're going to stay away from you completely, because they what I've known is like a lot of entities and spirits, they're kind of I like to call them energy hogs, pretty much. They'll they'll go in and they like to siphon energy off of you. That's why they like attention. They like to do all these things because
Why I feel drained. Type.
yeah, like they like to drain the energy off of you or like feed off the energy of the emotions. So yeah, it can be quite like interesting how that whole thing works. But
Yeah. Oh, and astral travel.
oh, astral travel. What did you have? Yeah, what would you have on astral travel?
Huh?
What questions did you have on astral travel?
I mean, when you go to sleep, does it happen right away, or do you have to like be still?
Um,
One.
like what happens is there's a couple stages of like astral projection. You know, you first start sleeping, kind of feels like you like well, not exactly sleeping. You start drifting into unconsciousness, and you probably felt this these first few stages. Like you'll start feeling like there's a heavy blanket over you at first, and then you'll kind of get sleep paralysis, and you won't be able to move. And some people have actually woke up with sleep paralysis, and that's kind of probably pretty freaky to them. And this is where a lot of people like they'll either fall asleep at this stage, or they'll be able to get to the next stage, which is they'll start to feel lighter, and you know they'll still feel the kind of like the heaviness on them, but like they start to feel almost lighter for some reason.
Uh-huh.
And the next one after that, if you've gotten really far, and this is right before you're about to astral project, is you'll feel like you're vibrating from the inside out, and you may even hear like a high vibration tone in your ears.
I hear those sometimes. Sometimes it's just sighing.
Yeah, but this will get really, really, really loud. Like if you're clairaudient, you'll be able to hear it, and it'll be really loud. Because what's happening is, like, your body's vibrating so much, and because you're in sleep paralysis, what's happening is there's a part of you that's popping out of you. So, like, what a lot of people don't realize is, like, we kind of, I guess, fell from, like, higher vibrations into this, I guess, form, and form basically requires that you have to have a little bit lower vibration unless that vessel can take the higher vibration. So the more you raise your vibration and the higher you go up, the more the spirit, or I guess the soul, has to, or that basically the astral body has to vibrate to come out of you, and it becomes a little easier as well.
Right.
But yeah, most people will vibrate quite a bit, and then they'll start to come out. First their hands and their feet, and then kind of up along their legs, kind of going up through their chest, and the last part to detach will usually be their as they come out. And most people will, like, before they're, like, they'll go up on the astral wind or whatever, they'll float above their bodies, like those are just sleeping when they're unconscious. And what's interesting is, like, there's pretty much, I guess, a few forms of this, but, well, actually, I'm not going to say a few forms, that's not the right words, but you split into three parts, and I'm sure you've heard that from me. You have your physical form, your astral body, and your dream form. Now, like, the dream form is what you experience every night. You'll dream and stuff, and there'll be some things with the astral realms kind of melting in there. But what's kind of weird is, like, when you astral project, like the dreams can, like, the dream part of yourself can almost shift into you sometimes, where, like, you'll be having it so, like you'll be having a complete experience in the astral realms, and you'll have a lot more energy focused into you. So it's kind of weird how that all works.
Like, I'll have a lot of vivid dreams.
Yeah. And, often the vivid dreams are ways for, like, people to, like, experience what they're not able to tell themselves, or what their own feelings are trying to tell them, but their own conscious mind isn't. And it often gives us messages through, like, our higher guidance. But anyways, all right. It sounds like our other person, Candace, she'll be coming on here soon. She's about ready, but when she's ready, you'll just click off, and then you can continue watching. But yeah. Any more questions before you have to go, Nicole?
I have one about how you explain about using your hair as, like, a channel or something.
Okay. All right. Oh, looks like Candace has joined us. All right, I'll answer Nicole's question real quick, and then she'll go, and then I'll get right to Candace's questions.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Good. All right, cool.
All right, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Yeah. So, Nicole, your question was, like, how, like, you can sense energy better with the hair. That's, like, I remember in the hangout I showed you, like, you kind of focus on your scalp, and then you go down into the roots of your hair, and you let the energy flow into your hair, and you'll notice, like, your surroundings will become sharper. But, it's just going to take some practice as you go along. And what's going to happen is, like, you'll start to do this with all the other hairs on your body, so where, like, if I do this right now, like, the room becomes instantly a lot more sharper to me, and I'm able to feel what's going on around me or what's going on in the next room. But our hair is actually a very good sensory organ. This is just pretty much taking advantage of, like, and putting more of focus and energy onto your hair, so where you're getting a lot more input.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope those questions helped.
Yes. Thank you, Mike.
There, you're welcome. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Nicole.
All right, Candace, how are you?
I am great. It's kind of late, but I'm good.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I was on doing a lab for geology about a few hours ago, so I know it is. It gets late.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with studying and school.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I haven't really been able to keep up with the new challenges you put out because I've been so busy. Can you tell me a
Mhm.
little bit about it?
Like what this is like these challenges, I put them out there for people to really challenge themselves, whether they're beginner or advanced,
Mhm.
because like I wanted people that were advanced to really feel the thrill of like being able to go and do a lot more things. But also I wanted to give the beginners some like oh, something I can strive for and push harder for. And you know, I try to explain like in my previous videos that I've been building up before the challenges to kind of get them ready.
Mhm.
But energy work development and psychic development takes some time, and
It does.
anyone that thinks they're going to get it in a week or a day or a month, like you'll have some development during that time.
Definitely. Mhm.
Yeah, like it
It's
does
like
not
a
happen
subtle.
overnight.
Yeah, it's a subtle. You can tell the subtle differences, especially if you stay in tune with your body and pay attention
Hmm.
to, and if you meditate and really
Hmm.
calm your mind, you'll really be able to tell the differences, especially when you're growing
Hmm.
with energy work.
And yeah, and like these challenges, I made sure that like for those that were just starting out, this is like I would say maybe like 6 months to a year of like of
Mhm.
growth of where they could be, like where they see everything at their full potential if they're really going
Mhm.
hard at it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, that's basically the challenges with that. Oh, I wonder how this guy got on. I didn't share the link with anyone else. But I guess one more person, that's all right. But anyways, we apparently have Devin on as well. But Devin, you'll have to wait a few minutes. Um, yeah, Candace's time is not up yet. But anyways, what's another question you got, or any other questions?
Hmm. Do I have any other questions? Hmm. Let me think. Hmm. I don't want to waste any of your time. It's just
Uh,
um.
I understand
Let
under
me see.
pressure.
Hmm. Why don't you just tell me about how far you've gotten? I know there's always room to learn. There's always something new to know and advancing your
Mhm.
skills. What can you do?
One thing my guides and me have been training with right now is a lot of elemental energy. Like there's a lot more energies than people think. What I've been mostly working with people right
Um,
now is the etherical energy properties. Oh, I believe you froze. Oh dear. Are you still there? Oh dear. I think we lost Candace. I'll wait for her to come back, but anyways,
mhm.
oh, oh, there you go. All right, we got a message from our other person. All right.
What did he say?
Oh, he said basically, our other person said, sorry to interrupt. I'm just to spectate. Candace said I can watch from here.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, I posted some links where people can watch live, but it's okay. He can watch from there. But anyways, to continue where I was at, like right now, I'm mostly working with people with
mhm,
like just with the etherical energies.
mhm,
Right now, my guides are kind of honing my skills on the other energies and the other energy properties, like the other elemental energies, and also spreading out into the masculine and feminine energies and how to
Yeah.
combine them
Yeah.
all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
People
it's been kind of
definitely
interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. I was saying
Yeah.
people definitely don't know that they have both energies in them. It's just like there's good and evil, up and down.
Mhm.
You have the feminine and masculine. You have to balance them
Yeah.
both aside, yeah, within you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you know what a lot of people don't realize? Like, when people come into their feminine energies, like,
Mhm.
once they come into their feminine energies and then begin working on their masculine energies, what will
Mhm.
happen is the masculine energies will find peace with the feminine energies.
Now that you bring that up, when you think about how the consciousness is on Earth and
Mhm.
how our society is in general, it is very masculine, very left
Mhm.
brains, not like very spiritual, very
Yeah.
intuitive at all. It's just very physical, very mathematical, logical type of society
Yeah.
we live in. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that's
And one
not
of
what we. Go ahead.
anyways, it's interesting you bring that up. But you know what? It's a very interesting thing. Like, there's very few people that have ever seen the true masculine energy, because the masculine energy is not necessarily meant to be all mathematical. Part of it, yes, very much is, and it's
Mhm.
supposed to be very strong and everything. Like,
Mhm.
you'll see, like, it's a shadow of what it should be. And it's not until like for a lot of males, like when they come into like their feminine energies as well,
Mhm.
like their masculine energies will start to balance in there, and they won't feel as threatened, and they
Mhm.
can start to bring in what their true masculine power is. And I'm going to actually do a video on that explaining that. But
Yeah.
like, since a lot of people don't know what the masculine power is, like there is, like you said, a lot of physical in there. Like,
Mhm.
the feminine, as you know, is more internal. It's a lot more dealing with the heart.
Mhm. It is. Mhm.
Yeah. The masculine energies help unlock that as well. Like, the feminine energies, like, I like to kind of talk to, like, they're the door, and the masculine energies are the key. So,
Mhm.
like, the feminine has like all these energies, but like when the masculine inserts into the lock,
Mhm.
a lot more opens up to you, because like we have all this inside us. We have source energy inside us
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
universe from the feminine
Mhm.
aspect. But why
Yeah.
we are here on this planet is also the masculine aspect. We take from our surroundings the lessons and knowledge that we gain around
Yep.
us.
Yes. Every
And
failure, everything. It's all the experiences.
mhm,
It's all to help you grow,
yeah.
and you grow from there, and you learn from it, and you just
Mhm.
become a better you every day. Every
Oh
day.
yeah.
Every
And
day.
like what a lot of people don't see is like you need both. Otherwise,
You
like,
do.
yeah, without it, if you stay internal all the time, it's like you're not growing any. Like, you
At
may
all.
be able to like, get a lot of heart and everything, and you'll learn a lot, but that God self of you is still learning. Just like Source is having an experience. That's what we're here for.
Mhm.
And these emotions on this planet, why this planet is so unique in the first place, is we're
Mhm.
transforming the emotions into something, into a higher form. Because,
Yep.
like, you'll see a lot of in the spiritual community, they will say love and light, and, you know,
Mhm.
to me that often kind of feels pretty cold.
How so? Just
Like,
it's just being on
it's
the light side of things. It's not balancing out.
more that, like, a lot of people say it without any meaning to it. There's no energy driving it. And what often happens is, like, I'll see they'll say that all the time, and they'll focus so much on the positive that they're not taking the lessons of the
Mhm.
masculine and
Mhm.
letting that ground into their energies. Because
You
if you don't,
definitely need both. Yes. Mhm.
uh, because if
If
you
you.
don't keep grounded in love, you kind of get this airy fairy kind of love that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You gotta have
Yeah.
the there's the spiritual aspect of love, but then there's the physical. That's the left and right, the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
You really do need to learn how to focus both, especially if you want to grow spiritually. Especially if you want to teach people. I know you want to teach people. Yeah, really have to balance that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
As far as energy goes, I am trying to learn to see auras. I can see like the outline. I see the outline, but I don't see colors that often. I have to be engaged in a conversation with a person. When I'm engaged in a conversation with a person, that's when I'll see a color. Like one time I was talking to a classmate, and she got really happy, and like green just came over her face, and I was like, whoa. And she was like, what's wrong? I was like, hold on a second, I gotta adjust my eyes.
It's like,
because it gets bright, it goes down, it gets closer to her skin, and then comes out. It just does. I see the outline, I just don't always see color. And there's people who see color all the time, and I just don't see it all the time.
Some people's senses are a lot more different than others, and like some are like more stronger than hearing, feeling, like, or more their intuition, or any of the other senses. And you'll see that a lot. And you got to find the senses that you're most dominating, and then you can start to branch out to the other senses. Because what you'll find is like they'll start to like leak over into your other senses.
Yeah.
Like I've actually noticed like there's actually personality traits like each of the senses have. Like for example, those that are feeler people that feel a lot more, they have very big hearts, and they often feel like they will like have to be needed, or like they're important. Not in the way that's egotistical, but like they have something that's a purpose for them to do. And they have very big hearts, and they're very like sensitive to rejection.
You're saying that certain energies have you said they have an emotional trait. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, they can very much, it kind of like guides them along in that it's not necessarily always true, but it's generally as a general thing. Yeah.
You're working to be a healer. That's what you want to do. You want to heal.
Yeah.
Or you just want to. I can tell. It's just the way you associate things with emotions, human emotions, and the energies, and that's a good way to. That's a good healing thing. That's good.
And I like to be very practical with people and very open with people, because I find if you're very airy-fairy, you kind of live in this kind of world where like nothing is pretty much like, it's pretty much a fantasy. Like it's pretty much a fantasy world. If you don't live in both worlds, what'll happen is like if you're up in the higher energy all the time, you become airy-fairy. I like to call them the space cadets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really have to ground yourself. But if you ground yourself for too long, it gets very dull, very humdrum. Yeah. It does.
And
I remember being that way before because I was raised Baptist, and it was very, every Sunday, every Wednesday, you have to be at church, and nothing against Baptist, because I still, that's within me. That's something that taught me my morals, But there was no spiritual. I just feel more spiritual now that I have a more of an objective look on things, and I know more. So,
yeah, and I kind of took the same approach. I was like originally Mormon and LDS. It's pretty tough leaving that. They kind of hold like the family kind of like theirs. Like if you don't, go to church and such, like you're not gonna see your family again and stuff. And it's the same with Baptists. Like you'll go to hell if you do this.
And they think something's wrong with you. They think something's definitely wrong with you if you go against an elder or go against just anybody older than you or somebody with a position. Your parents, they will pray over you for weeks probably. Like my church was small, so they will call you up to the altar and pray over you every week because they think there's something wrong with you.
Oh,
It was just crazy. Yeah, crazy. And I used to think that was normal. So.
And you know what's the funny thing is, like, with, you know, prayers and blessings, and they think magic is very bad, but the funny thing is they do magic already.
You're enchanting. You're incantating this. With the hymns we used to sing, the saying amen, amen, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's like they're practicing magic as they speak, like even sometimes black magic in some cases, because like when they pray for someone, like they're doing it against their will, and black magic basically is against a person's will.
That's true. That's very true. That's true.
So it's like you're kind of hypocrites, people.
That is so true.
Yeah, and you know what's kind of hilarious is, like, I've learned this from the past, and you know, I learned my lessons as I got more spiritually mature. But it's like you don't help and try to heal people unless you have permission from them, or kind of implicit permission. Because otherwise, like, what happens a lot of times, I have seen that backfire. Like when you try to help someone, like, and they're like, whether they're possessed or anything else, like, what'll happen is, like, their higher self will kind of, you know, try to nudge you away from that situation. Because the higher self, it's very smart, and it wants that person to have an experience, even if they fail.
That's true.
So unless the person is engaging in learning that lesson and receiving help, a lot of times you're going to get really smacked.
And that has to do with intent too. Once you that also goes back to when you want asking for permission to even touch people. People in church, they will touch you, you know, lay their hands on you, point at you and things, you know, point their hands, and that energy comes towards you, or whatever the intent they have. You don't know what intent everybody has for you. So to just let anybody, you know, bless you and all that, it's not good. Even a doctor, I'm in nursing school, and we have to ask for permission before we touch a patient, you know, or touch anybody, really. So you already have to have the intent to care for them, to actually want to help them. So, and that intent, and that's when you meditate too. You have to have the intent already in mind.
I like that. And you know what's the funny thing? Like, I see, like, since we were talking about, like, hospitals and such already, it's like I see often with people that go into surgery and such, they have the doctors work on them, but they don't research or, like, take a part in their own healing process. They just, like, say, operate on me. That's it.
Yep, that's true. Make me better. Give me the medicine. That's it.
And, like, what that does, it's pretty much telling the higher self, I don't care what happens to me.
But, you know, with just how, you know, I don't want to say in the media, but just how our society is in America, that's how it, I mean, if you don't know better, if you don't know about these things, that's just how you think it is. You just go along with it, and you're just programmed to be that way.
Yeah. And, you know, it's kind of funny. Like, I see a lot of people, like, get really afraid of the reptilians and control and the conspiracy. They're like, oh, the government's in control. But it's but at the same time, you know, I'm not afraid of that, because what's happened is, like, as long as that person knows that free will spark inside of them, none of that even matters. Like, sure, you can be influenced, but you in the end have the choice.
That's why they make us so deathly scared of death. That's why they make us scared of death, because it'll make you do what they say. It'll make you afraid of the law, you know, going to prison, which is scary, but it just makes you scared. They just make it to be scared of death, like it's the end all be all.
Yeah, and you know, I can see, like, why the prisons exist and why law enforcement exists, and they're very good programs for that, for keeping the peace. Because a lot of people, like, they'll go on the negative end of the spectrum of things, and they'll become this big ball of, like, angry energy that just starts to spiral out of control. And,
yeah, so true.
Like, you see about 90% of crime, like especially sexually abused crimes, like with rape and other things, is because of abuse in the person that is doing the crime in the first place.
That's true. And it's a cycle. It'll just keep going on and on and on until one point somebody, or maybe they take it within themselves to break that cycle.
Yeah, and you know, I've talked to a few people that have come back from prison, and like they've really turned their life around. They healed themselves, and like they were no longer this big ball of bad energy anymore, where they were all twisted up and like soul fragments everywhere. They actually became very like good people and very wise people at that. And they were very down to earth, which I liked. They took a lot of those lessons. But anyway, it's getting late, and I've got to make Jessie dinner here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, poor girl. She's feeling sick. I'm gonna get her some hot cider.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and I'm gonna run to the store and get her some. She's feeling awful. She's like, honey, I'm dying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Hot cider?
Yeah. She loves hot cider.
All right. It was great talking to you.
Yeah. But we have time for at least one more question, and if you have it.
I don't know. Do you have any, not like a testimonial, but somebody you've helped possibly, somebody who's grown, that you know has grown from advice you've given them, you know, about energy work and things like that?
Yeah. There have been a few people. I'm not going to say any names because I don't like to do that without a person's permission. But, you know, there's been a few people that I've seen grow because, like, I'm not going to say how old she is or anything, but, you know, she came from a kind of very harsh lifestyle. Not necessarily lifestyle, but a very harsh background, you know. Some people had raped her and everything else, and she was so angry and tired, and like there's parts of her that, you know, felt very like fragmented, and she didn't feel anything anymore. And what we started doing as we started working with each other, we started like working on the emotional healing, drawing pieces of her back together, because those pieces of her were frozen in time. And I'd have her go back into the memory and, you know, heal the memory and transform it into something new. And, you know, I'd be there to kind of, you know, give her a hug and, you know, and it's like, it's okay, you're safe. And
that's nice.
And you know what I also like to see is, like, I've seen so many other people, like, once they start learning energy work and actually doing it for real, is like they get to see the world around them in a whole new light, something that's more brilliant. And, you know, they shouldn't have to look at other people as like you're just unawakened. You're just unawakened person over here.
And after you've been after you have awoken, it is hard not to look at people that way, because you can just see people, they're so conditioned and they're so, you can tell just by conversations people have. You can just tell.
Yeah, they look at themselves as above the other person.
What would you say? What would you say would be a good thing to, as far as, let's say you have somebody you care about, and you know that they're not spiritually awoken. What would you say to get them to slowly get into that, you know, get that will going? Because it's not going to be easy. They're going to probably reject it the whole way. So.
Yeah, one thing I see is, like, to slowly bring it in. Don't threaten their own personal power. Like, bring it in slowly. Like, mention off the offsides. Like, hey, would you like to see this? I'd like to show you this. Like, there's a friend of mine who's very religious, and I taught her how to, like, raise her own body temperature. And she was shivering and everything else, and she is LDS, and she didn't even know that I had taught her energy work in the first place. And you know,
Wow.
there's a few people that I've talked to. Like, it's just like all you have to do is just focus, and you'll notice, like, for example, when you close your eyes, you notice your focus will instantly shift up here to the third eye. That's how people dream in the first place, and they're able to see what's going on in their dreams.
Mhm.
So it's like what you do is you introduce little things at a time, just little itty bitty things that get them interested. Like something that they can easily do within 5 minutes, like make an energy ball or feel where their third eye is, or raise their own body temperature. There's a lot of things you can do with that. Because once they know and feel it for their own, like, they can't reject it anymore because they've like, kind
You
of,
did it yourself.
yeah, you just did it. And to those that kind of look above everyone else and kind of put themselves on a pedestal and such, there's one thing to remember. It's like you were there once. You were there once. And it's like you help people like not feel so alone anymore in the universe. Like often people it's like they would like to feel all these things, and it's just like you go up to them and you just share your heart. You share that love, that grounded love with them, and you connect with them. And that's how you connect with people. It's like you go up and be authentic with people. Because
do you find it that people like to come to you for like to be consoled, and they find you as a confidant? Yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
a lot.
That happens a lot. And you'll see that a lot with healers. Like, and you know why? Because like there has been like pretty much no healer that has not been broken. Like you will always see a healer that has been broken in some way. And I have my own past that I've had, very harsh in some ways. But it's like what you do is like the healers have a very important job. They go and transform what has happened in like in their own hearts, and that's been very hurtful, into something so much more where they're learning how to, like, instead of reacting to a situation, learning how to react.
Yeah.
But anyways, like, I thank you for coming on, and thank you, Nicole, earlier for also coming on. And Devin, I hope you had a wonderful time spectating here.
Right.
Yeah. And like, I'm also like, just to give some other information to people out there, I have a Facebook page open, and I'm going to be releasing extra content that I may not be releasing onto YouTube, because there's some stuff that I'll be releasing that I would like for a more serious audience, because I've seen here, like, sometimes on the Q&A, what'll happen is, like, there'll be some weird questions will come up, and like
questions you've already answered, or
just weird questions. Like the other night, I got ones like, "Do you have Ebola?" I was like, "Can I have your money?" Yeah.
I know why you need the serious audience.
And that's and it's like that's what I want from people. Like I want them to actually be a serious audience and willing to listen. And they don't have to listen to me for the newcomers here, and that's why I'm having the YouTube channel. Is so like newcomers can kind of get a taste, and then like say, hey, what is this other stuff that I'm talking about here? And like we actually got a weird question over here in the Q&A now. And it says, "Are you afraid of the law?"
The law?
Yeah.
Maybe you mean the police, maybe?
I guess. But, yeah, that's what I mean. I know Kelly gets them quite often, where she gets the weird questions.
She just goes over, she says, "Oh, I'm deleting that one."
Like, nope.
Well, I guess it's probably people trolling her, being stupid.
Yeah, and then you see, like I saw the other one the other day with, like, we are the Galactic Police. You've got to stop what you're doing.
Yeah. I saw that. The Galactic Police.
Yeah, it's like, take everything with a bit of humor. And anyways, like, in the next 2 days, I'm going to have a huge announcement that I have to say I'm ashamed to say I might to put these other two all these other videos I've done to shame and then some.
A huge announcement.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Anyways, if you guys enjoyed watching, subscribe or go like my Facebook page. I'll have that in the link below. And anyways, have a good week, guys.
See ya.